Sony finally announced their showcase event, something that gamers have been asking for what seems like a year. Let's get into what's going to be shown and what we should expect from the show, because I have a feeling they really need to show up big to compete with what Xbox's crazy amount of hype they've had over the last several months, especially leading into the holiday season this year. So let's get into this. Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by and checking out the video. Remember to hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support is greatly appreciated. And if you want to be notified on future content, hit that small little bell icon. It helps out the channel a lot. Okay, so finally, Sony has announced their big showcase event that will help gamers understand what's in store for the PlayStation 5 for the next year or so. The event will run about 40 minutes, but will hopefully be packed with a bunch of games and reveals that we all didn't expect to see. What those games and reveals are is another story. That's what we're here to predict. But first, I have to say that Sony has to show up pretty big for this event because the E3 show that Xbox put together was one of the best shows we've ever seen as gamers. It set the stage for the entire generation and really showcased gamers exactly what they had planned for the Xbox Series X and the PC gamers that Xbox is catering to. And plus, they had Bethesda right there showing their massive games also. So Sony has a lot for them to top. As for Sony, they've been very quiet as of late. In fact, a lot of their state of plays have been pretty lackluster if you ask me. Not to mention, their holiday season releases leave much to be desired. But that doesn't mean they can't finish off the year with some awesome announcements that help shape their future of the PS5. And to be honest, it's something they have to do, because the next several months is going to be dominated by Xbox and their first party offerings. So let's get into the big games that will probably be there first, and let's also talk about what we think might show up or might be some surprises. First up is God of War Ragnarok, the game that was announced last year and has been radio silent ever since. We know that the game was supposed to release in 2021, but after a delay, we know it's hopefully coming out next year in 2022. Now, I know a lot of people think this game might not get some gameplay, but I think they'll actually show something here. I mean, think about it. We saw some brief gameplay of Horizon Forbidden West last year, and have seen so much leading up to next year's release. God of War, when it came out in 2018, had an extended gameplay reveal in 2016. Sony tends to show their games very early and announce them very early. They do this to build up hype, so don't be surprised if we get a gameplay reveal for God of War, because we all know it's one of the biggest, if not their biggest IP next to Spider-Man. So expect gameplay. With that said, let's say there is no gameplay. If there's no gameplay, I wouldn't be surprised if this game doesn't come out until 2023. I know that's pretty drastic, but it's just how I feel, and I hope I'm wrong, because this game does need gameplay, and Sony tends to show gameplay pretty early. So if it's not shown now, that means it'll be shown next year, and that means to me, it's a year to a year and a half away from the gameplay showing. Now, speaking of Spider-Man, their other big IP, people need to realize that Insomniac Games just brought out Miles Morales, which was a solid game, and I truly loved it. But they also brought out Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, which was a pretty decent game. So they've brought out 2 full games during the launch of the PS5. That's a lot of content and a lot of work. So don't expect Spider-Man 2 announcement, and don't expect them to announce anything regarding Spider-Man for maybe a year or two. Now, of course, they could have other teams working on those 2 games I just mentioned, so Spider-Man could be closer than I think. But overall, I think it's a ways away, so people should not expect to see Spider-Man at this event. Next up is, again, Horizon Forbidden West, and I have to say, if they continue to show gameplay of this thing, I'm going to get pretty annoyed. We've seen so much gameplay from this game that I just don't want to see anything else. Please, we're going to reach spoiler territory if you show more gameplay of this. I think we're at like 15 to 20 minutes of gameplay now. Give it a brief showing, maybe some new enemies that we've never seen before for like a second, but after that, don't show anything, just give us the date and make it look cool. That's it. A little bit of gameplay, small trailer, reveal date, move on. Now a game that I want to see a lot of is Gran Turismo 7, because we've only gotten some very brief gameplay from the trailer last year, and I think it would benefit Sony to showcase their graphical showpiece racing game, especially since Forza Horizon 5 is launching this year and has shown to be one of the best looking racing games we've ever seen. Plus, it's been a while since we've seen Gran Turismo in general, so we need to see that game at this event. expect a pretty awesome gameplay showing with maybe some technical talk about it. Because we have to remember, Gran Turismo is one of the biggest racing games ever, but Forza has taken the crown from them, so I'm expecting Gran Turismo to come in pretty much going on par with what Forza is trying to bring out. I mean, they have to compete somehow because Forza has completely dominated the racing space. After that, I think we'll get Final Fantasy 16, which has been a game that's going to be a console exclusive to the PlayStation. This was first shown at the PS5 Showcase last year again, but we've gotten pretty much nothing ever since. And I'm not that big of a Final Fantasy fan, so I won't try to act like I know anything about it or if I'm even excited about this. Either way, it's something to keep an eye on, and I know some people are looking forward to the game. For me, I can pass it on. I understand it's for other gamers and not really my taste. So I'm going to go on to the next game, which is a game being made by an Xbox developer, which is Ghostwire Tokyo. Now, we all know this game is an action-adventure game from Tango Gameworks. They're the developers behind The Evil Within. We know that this game was delayed into 2022 because of the pandemic and all the issues that caused so many developers last year. But it's a game that we've seen some gameplay from, and it's been in development for several years. I believe this game was announced 3 years ago at an E3 event on the Bethesda stage, back when Bethesda wasn't even with Xbox. And since they've trickled in some gameplay and some trailers that showcase what the game's about, so expect some gameplay from this game at this event because it's coming out next year. I'm personally excited to see this because it is a game being developed by an Xbox developer, and so we get to see what they're capable of through a PlayStation game. Plus, I think it's coming to PC. I could be wrong, but I think it's a PS5 and PC game release. After that, we'll probably see Elden Ring. Now, I know most people will yell at me, but From Software games are just not my style. I know, people love these types of games, but to me, I just can't get into them. I know a lot of people are excited for this game, and I'm sure we'll get some gameplay reveal here. If the game isn't shown here with gameplay, I expect the award show to have a gameplay reveal instead. So look forward to that, especially people that love their types of game. Now comes the games that might be there and we've heard some rumors about. First up is Naughty Dog and their standalone factions PvP mode for The Last of Us 2. Now, we all know that The Last of Us was a very, very popular multiplayer mode during the PS3 era. Yet the sequel didn't have that part of the game, which was a missing mode in the game, if you ask me. Yet they hinted at a standalone multiplayer mode for the sequel. And if we remember, Neil Druckmann said earlier this year that they have several cool things we can't wait to share with you. I have a feeling that it's going to be the multiplayer mode that should have launched with The Last of Us 2. I actually think this is pretty awesome because one of the biggest criticisms of Sony is that they don't have good multiplayer or co-op games. Games that I tend to gravitate towards. So I'm happy that this might be something that we can get to see from Sony, and maybe they dive in a little bit more into the co-op or multiplayer aspect of games. I'm really hoping that they do that. From there, I think we'll get Kenya Bridge of Spirits, which is actually launching this month. I expect them to have a pretty cool trailer showing of the game, especially since it's launching this month and people will be able to pre-order it right away. Expect this game to be a pretty nice little showing. I've been paying attention to this game for quite some time, and I have to say, it's pretty awesome looking. I'm going to play it on the PC since that's the platform I prefer over the PlayStation, but either way, it is a PlayStation exclusive on the console side, but it is releasing on PC through the Epic Game Store, so I'm looking forward to that. And speaking of playing a PC game, we also will see Deathloop. This game is right around the corner and people are extremely excited for it. Yet again, it's an Xbox developer making this game and we'll see what this developer is all about. I'm going to be playing this game on PC because it's on there. We've seen a lot of this game, so I don't expect it to be a centerpiece, but I also think it's Sony's biggest game coming out this holiday season. So we might see a lot of it. Either way, this game is going to be a showcase for not only Sony, but also Xbox because this is an Xbox developer. Now outside of that, we've heard rumors of Sucker Punch is going to announce the next Infamous game, which I have a feeling might not happen. Unless Sucker Punch has two studios, I don't see them dropping another game so soon. Ghost of Tsushima just came out and their expansion just dropped a few weeks ago, so don't expect something from them. Now of course I could be wrong and I'd be happy to be wrong because of course I want even more games for me to play. And that's pretty much everything of note I would expect to see at this event. Of course, there could be more director cut games and all of these other announcements, maybe a few surprises. But most of all, I think this will be a pretty big showcase we see. Outside of some awesome surprises, I think Sony is going to put on a great show. They'll have it set at a breakneck speed since it's 40 minutes long, and they'll try to catch a lot of gamers' attention before the holiday season kicks off, especially since they don't have any games coming out until next year. Xbox is dominating the holiday season with Halo and Forza, not to mention a bunch of third-party deals that are going into Game Pass. Pass. So I think the only thing that Sony could hope for is that the games they show at this event stand out. It builds hype for them that could carry over into next year when they start to finally release some of their bigger games like Horizon Forbidden West and maybe God of War. Either way, let's hope this is a great show because we all want to see great games from any publisher that comes out. But let me know what you think about this. Do you expect to see big games from Sony? Will we see God of War gameplay? Can Sony steal some of the hype surrounding the Series X right now? Will this show sell the PS5 even more? What games do you hope to see at this event? And what kind of games do you hope to see Sony making from now on? Go down below and let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button and that like button to support us out the channel more than you know. And give me a follow on Twitter at Zalker87. I'm always on there talking games and sharing my latest videos. Plus, I love interacting with everyone there, so get on Twitter and let's talk about gaming. Also, follow me on Xbox Live. My gamertag is Zalker87, just like my channel name. See what games I'm playing, and let's compete in achievements for the month. So right now, I'm playing a bunch of Assassin's Creed, I'm playing a bunch of Aliens Fireteam, and I'm playing a bunch of Psychonauts too. I'm kind of moving all over the place, and I've been actually playing a lot of Diablo 3, getting ready for Diablo 2 Resurrection, because I can't wait to play that game. It's very nostalgic for me. I loved Diablo 2 when I was younger. I played that game so many times. I had so many classes max level. I love it. I'm going to be rolling in Amazon when it comes out. I can't wait. Trust me, this game is complete nostalgia for me because every time I was a kid, I would play Diablo or StarCraft or pretty much anything Blizzard. So yeah, they did a really good job with this Resurrection and this remaster. It actually looks insane. I've been looking at gameplay of it to see if it's worthwhile, and I gotta say, it looks great. But let me know what you're playing. Are you playing something on your Xbox, your Series X, or are you playing on your PS5 or your PC? Let me know down below what you're playing and also what you're looking forward to coming out in the next several months, because there's a lot of games. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, enjoy your gaming. Later.